Good evening all. Good evening. You are welcome to tutorials with from Eternity the Schoolboy. Today we'll take a look at biology. Biology, we are set on the topic cell structure and functions. Cell what? Structure and functions of the cell components. In our last class, we stopped at nucleus. Yes. Okay, you didn't come. Did you miss class here? Okay, you missed class on Friday. That's why. We changed the timetable because everything will now be here. Okay? Don't worry, later you get the timetable. Now, so we stopped at components of cells and their function, and specifically we stopped at the nucleus. At what? The nucleus. We stopped specifically at the what? Nucleus. We said that nucleus is the what? The most important organism, right? Largest and the most what? Because it controls all the activities of the what? Say, I will not give you this one. This one is, can't you see? I put my name on in it. I will not give you that one. Let me find that one and give you. We said that nucleus is the largest and the most important what? Organism. Am I communicating? Good. So we move forward to describe what made the nucleus the what? The most important what? Organism. Because it controls activities of the what? Cell. Right there, the nucleus controls the activity of the what? Of the cell. Now we move down to talk about how it controls the what? The production of what? Chemicals for normal cellular what? Activities. And how its role in reproduction, right? Carrying genetic what? Information. Hereditary what? Information that determines. That's what is that information that says that a human being will be born so day, and the person will be dark and slim, average in height. Then the parents now name that human being success. But before success came out, the nucleus has done what? Coded the information about what? Success. From the information gotten from where? The parents. Am I communicating? Now, and we also talked about what actually is a gene. Am I communicating? And we concluded that the gene is a part of what? Part of the what? DNA, right? Good. Gene is that code, that information, that particular information coded for a particular thing. That's why you hear gene for tallness, gene for what is it called? For the for skin complexion, right? The gene for gene for different things. Am I communicating? The gene for what? Different things. That is the information itself, the code. And if you go, the DNA is filled with this code. Am I communicating? Codes of different activities in the body. Now, that's what we discussed in our last class. And we also made mention of the chromatin what? Granules. Remember? Can you remember? We made mention of what? Chromatin what? Granules. And we said that they are network of what? They are a network and they are trade what? Like. They are trade in what? Network. Remember that? And actually, chromatin granules is an extension of the what? Chromosome. Actually, chromatin granules is an extension of what? Chromosomes. We discussed that, right? Good. Now, let's look at this chromatin. We also say that chromatin, that they contain among it's a network. Among the chromatin, we have darkly stained bodies, and these bodies are called what? Nucleoli, or nucleolus for what? Singular, right? Nucleoli. These stained bodies are known as what? Nucleoli. So what actually happens? What are they? One thing is that nucleoli are richly composed of proteins and what? Nucleic acid. They are richly composed of what? Proteins and what? Nucleic what? Acid. Are we together? Nucleic acid. Now, we are going down to how the nucleus control what happens in the what. I told you that the nuclear membrane has pores, right? Through that pores, there's exchange of material from the nucleus to the what, between the nucleus and the what, cytoplasm. And such material include even the information. Am I communicating? Information on protein synthesis. Now, actually, what happens is this: there's a part of the DNA that will now contain information for protein synthesis and other activities, specifically protein synthesis, known as what? The messenger what? RNA. When this code on information on what to produce, the type of protein to produce, what takes it from the nucleus to the cytoplasm is what? Messenger what? RNA. Simply written M, small letter, mRNA. M what? RNA. Now this messenger RNA is one that now, from the name messenger, it sends the message on what to synthesize, especially protein, to the what? Cytoplasm. Now what happens is this messenger RNA get information and take it to the what? Ribosome. Remember, ribosome is what? The site of what? Protein what? Synthesis. So this messenger RNA get the information, takes it to the ribosome, and ribosome now get that information and look at it and get the proper, and now start synthesizing what? Protein, based on the information sent to it by what? Messenger what? RNA. And the protein they make are mainly what? Enzymes. The protein they make are mainly what? Enzymes. Are we together? Mainly what? Enzymes. So the nucleus controls the type and the quantity of protein to be what? Synthesized. Am I communicating? Protein to what? Synthesize. When you say protein, there are different hormones. Are hormones proteins too? Are hormones protein? Are there hormones that are proteins? You don't know? Okay, let's continue. Now, the main thing I want, apart from this issue of protein synthesis, another important information I want us to know is that this information also that leaves the nucleus also contains is coded also in this messenger RNA. The other thing, information with respect to what the cell will look like, what the cell is supposed to be producing. There are some cells that are meant to produce what? Hormones. Am I communicating? There are cells that are meant to do what? All the cells are not producing the same thing. Are you aware? There are cells that are meant to do what? Produce what? Hormones. So this information coded in this sent from the nucleus to the cytoplasm we contain information on the type of cells that particular cell type of thing the cell will do what? Produce. It's not only what? Proteins. That's the point I'm trying to make. That is the point I'm trying to make. Now, the nucleus also controls cell division. Are you aware? Are you aware? Good. Cell wall division. Simply put, when you say cell division, simply put reproduction. True of us. Simply put what? Reproduction. Simply put reproduction. Simply put reproduction. If you watch all the organisms, just say one or two things and stop. But we've been in nucleus for since last lecture to tell you how important this organelle is the control center of the cell. Is what? The control center of the cell. It controls whatever activity that go on in the cell. In another way around, it controls whatever is in the system, is in the organism. If all the cells in you, inside you, that make up you as Michael, if all the cells, the nucleus of all the cells are telling them, sending information on what they should do and what they should not do, that means your nucleus also controls whatever happens to you as a human being. True of us. So the nucleus is very, very what? Important. Now, we've dwelt on this nucleus for a long time. Let's look at cytoplasm. Remember where we started from? We started from the protoplasm and the what? Nucleus, right? The protoplasm and where do we start from? Cell wall, right? Good. Cell wall, right? Cell wall, or simply plasma membrane in all, right? Plasma membrane and what? And protoplasm. That's how we divided the component of cells, right? Into plasma membrane and what? Protoplasm. And we said that the protoplasm is the living component. Now, under protoplasm, we have the what? The nucleus and the what? Cytoplasm. We have treated the nucleus. We started with the plasma membrane and cell wall. We moved down to what? Protoplasm, and we treated what? Nucleus. Now let's face the what? Cytoplasm. Is on treating cytoplasm now, we'll now go to different what? Organelles. But before that, we discuss what cytoplasm look like, okay? We'll discuss what is cytoplasm look like before we now go to the what? The component of what? Cytoplasm. What are suspended in the what? Cytoplasm. Now, one thing you should know is that cytoplasm is what? Jelly-like. You know what I mean by jelly? Gel. Now, jelly-like what? Those that do their hair, right? Jelly. Yeah. Girls should know that more. Okay, Oloma. Jelly-like what? In nature. So one is that it is jelly-like. It is transparent. It is what? Jelly-like and transparent and composed mainly of what? Water. Three things. Cytoplasm is what? Jelly-like. It is what? Transparent and composed mainly of what? Water. Note this point. It can occur in different states. It can occur as what? Liquid. In liquid state. It can also occur in what? Semi solid what? State. The liquid state is called SOL. S-O-L. It can occur in two states as liquid state. The liquid state in bracket put SL, sol. Then it can also occur as what? Semi-solid what? State. Put in bracket gel as what? Sol, S-O-L. And what? Gel. Are we together? Now, the cytoplasm has, apart from organelles, cytoplasm has a lot of things dissolved in it, both organic and what? Inorganic. Am I communicating? Both organic and what? Inorganic. It has other things apart from the organelles. It has other things that are dissolved in it, both organic and what? inorganic. So that means if you look at the cytoplasm, it has two main components: the organelles and other dissolved substances. All those ones are called inclusions. Call them what? Inclusions. So organelles, inside organelles, we have the inclusions and what? Organelles. Now inside the cytoplasm, we have the what? Inclusions and what? Organelles. Inclusion consists of other things: starch granules, starch, whatever dissolved in it, other organic and inorganic component. And the type of inclusion you will see in that set of cytoplasm will give you more information of what the cell does. Am I communicating? What the cell does. Am I communicating? So the cytoplasm, we have different what? Components. It have what? Inclusions and what? Organelles. Am I communicating? Now, the inclusion can be starch grains, it can be oil droplets. Of course, when you see starch grains as an inclusion in a cell, in a cytoplasm of a cell, what comes to your mind? What comes to your mind? What type of cell do you think that cell should be? Starch grain. Plant cell, true of us. Plant cell should come to your mind, right? Plant cell. Let's continue. Now, so these inclusions are what and what? Example: starch grain, oil globules, and other excretory materials. Now, that's a point I want to make here before we go into organelles. There's a point I want to make before we go into organelles. That point is this. Listen carefully. Let me just put this question to you. Let me know what. Let's reason together. Between the nucleus and the cytoplasm, which one do you think is capable of specialization? Which one do you think can be specialized between nucleus and the cytoplasm? Which one? Do you know what I mean by do you know what I mean by specialized? I have mentioned it here, but you didn't know. I mentioned it here right now, but you didn't know because I didn't call it specialized. When I say specialized, it means how that cytoplasm appear. The cytoplasm can be customized to do different things, which means if you see the cytoplasm of different cells may not be the same thing. True or false? Cytoplasm of different cells may not be exactly the same thing. I mean the content of the what? Cytoplasm. True or false? Good. But the nucleus is what? Nucleus. Everywhere. Nucleus is what? Nucleus. They are not like nucleus of this one. Nucleus of what? The other one. Does it make sense? Does it make sense? So nucleus is not capable of what? Specialization in general. But cytoplasm can be specialized depending on what the cell does. Depending on the type and function of the what? The cell. That is where the difference between different cells of the body lies. Am I completing? That's where you have the difference between different cells of the body what lies. You know we have different specialized cells, true of us, in the body. Now let's continue. Now after inclusion, we have talked about what inclusion is all about. Let's go to what? Organelles. Let's now go to what? Organelles. Are we together? Now, what are these organelles? I want you to know something. Inclusions are temporary. Know that point. Inclusions in the cytoplasm, inclusions are what? Temporary. But organelles are what? Permanent. True of us. The organelles in a cell is there. It's not moving anywhere. True of us. But the inclusions are what? Temporary. Why the organelles in a cytoplasm are what? Permanent. That's the point I want to make there. Now let's continue. So another point I want to make is that I think I have already mentioned it when I said that specific each cells, the different cells must not perform the same function. True or false? Cells of the digest, cells of the different found in different systems of the body are not the same thing. True or false? That's why they say that cells that are familiar in structure and in function come together to form a particular tissue. True or false? Why this one that work together and they resemble in structure and function, they come together to form this particular tissue. So cells differ. True or false? Cells differ. Another difference is in the cytoplasm. True or false? The content of the cytoplasm. Now, with this we now enter into different organelles. We take these organelles one after the other. One after the other. Let's look at mitochondria. Mitochondria. Mitochondrium. The inner membrane. You see, this outer membrane. You see something like this. You see something like this. Am I communicating? Am I communicating? Something like this. Now, this fold inside the inner membrane is called crystal. It's called what? Crystal, singular, or crystate, plural. Crystal, or what? Crystate. I wouldn't want to go deep into at this level. There are a lot of things happen inside mitochondria, but at this level, just take it at the periphery, okay? Is when you now go deep into biology. You now start. That's when you understand what actually happened in the You now go in function of what this crystal actually do. So let us not go there. We are just having an overview. This is general biology. Are we together? Overview of what happens. Now, let's leave mitochondria for now. Okay? Now, let's look at chloroplast. So, mitochondria can be found both in plant and animal cell. Good. Mitochondria can be found both in plant and animal cell. Now, what of chloroplast? What happened in chloroplast? What is chloroplast? Chloroplast is a site of photosynthesis. Chloroplast is a site of photosynthesis. It contains a green pigment called chlorophyll. It contains a green pigment called chlorophyll. By the time we treat nutrition and talk about photosynthesis, I will dwell more on what actually happened in the chloroplast. But just know that the chloroplast contains a green pigment called chlorophyll. And the chloroplast is only found in green plants. Green plant is found where? In green plants and the other plant-like organism, Monera. The plant-like, by the time we treat classification, you understand what is Monera. By the time we go deep into different kingdoms, I'll throw more light on that Monera. A type of Monera that is plant. Monera that is plant-like is called what? Who knows? Who knows? Okay, what? Let me not take you there. Don't worry. Just Michael what? Mitofighter. Don't worry. Don't worry. But by the time we go there, I don't want to take us off what you're discussing. Okay. Now, it's found in what? Green plant, right? Just write plant-like protists. Plant-like what? Protists. We'll go into that to explain what they are later. Now, let's leave cytoplasm for now. Let's look at ribosome. Let's look at what? Ribosome. Remember, I told you that information for protein synthesis leaves the cell. What carries it from the cell? I mean, the nucleus. What carries it what carries the information for protein synthesis from the nucleus to the ribosome? Messenger what? RNA. Good. So messenger RNA carry information from where? The nucleus to the what? To the what? Ribosome. So what are ribosome? Ribosome are what? They are small round bodies. They are small round bodies. They can be free. They can be freely suspended in the cytoplasm, or they may be attached to the endoplasmic what? Reticulum. They may be freely suspended in the what? Cytoplasm, or they may be what? Attached with what? To the what? Endoplasmic what? Reticulum. So ribosome is the site of what? Protein synthesis. Ribosome is a what? Is a what? Site for what? Protein synthesis. And ribosome receive information from the nucleus on the type and the amount of protein to be synthesized. Ribosome receive information from the nucleus on the type and the amount of protein to be synthesized. Through what? Through what? The messenger what? RNA, mRNA. Full point, full stop. Let's stop here for now. Let's move to the next one. I think after this next one, we may stop here. It's 6:20 already, okay? So now let's look at the next one. The next organelle is what? Endoplasmic reticulum. The next organelle is what? So ribosome, it can be found in both plant and animal cells. True of us? True of us? So the next one is what? Endoplasmic reticulum. Remember in our last class, we were arguing whether photosynthesis takes place in the in success. Success was saying that does it take place in the ribosome or photosynthesis? Now we are going to discuss what? Ribosome or endoplasmic reticulum. Now we are going to discuss endoplasmic what? Reticulum. So now what is endoplasmic reticulum? Now actually endoplasmic reticulum is a channel throughout the what? Is a channel throughout the what? Cytoplasm. Okay? Is a channel that runs throughout the what? Cytoplasm. Is a channel that runs throughout the what? Cytoplasm. It's actually a system of sacs. It has membrane sacs. It's a system of membrane what? Sacs. And what actually happened? Now, I want to make a point. You know, we talked about nuclear membrane, right? We talked about nuclear membrane. If you look at the cells, you notice that endoplasmic reticulum is always somehow close to the nucleus. Have you noticed that? Who has seen it before? Diagram of a cell. Look it up. Check. We were talking since I didn't even draw the cell for you on the board. But it's there now in your textbook, okay? Let's not waste our time. It's there in your what? Textbook. Check it up in your what? Textbook. In fact, draw in your note In our next class, when we are reviewing biology, I want to see it. Draw in your notes plant and what? Animal what? Cell. Draw it in your note. I want to see it. I will see it tomorrow. Just draw it, plant and animal cell. Draw it in your note while answering this question. The point I want to make is that the membrane of endoplasmic reticulum is continuous with the what? Nucleus what? Nuclear what? Membrane. The membrane of endoplasmic reticulum is continuous with the what? Nuclear what? Membrane. What I mean is this: nuclear membrane now come out and continue as what? The membrane of what? Endoplasmic what? Reticulum. That's the point. Am I completing? That means you cannot completely separate endoplasmic reticulum from the what? Nucleus, because the nuclear membrane continues as the what? The membrane of what? Endoplasmic what? Reticulum. That's the point I want to make here. And I say that it's a channel, right? It's a channel. Now, let us now look at it properly. There are two types of endoplasmic reticulum. We have the smooth endoplasmic reticulum and the what? Rough endoplasmic reticulum. And their function differ. The function of smooth endoplasmic reticulum is different from the function of what? Rough what? Endoplasmic what? Reticulum. Now, the smooth endoplasmic reticulum, the rough one, what makes it rough? What makes it rough? What makes it rough is that rough endoplasmic reticulum has what? Ribosome. True of us, ribosome attached on it. So that thing you see that look like seed around it is a what? Is what? Ribosome. Is what? Ribosome. So now, what do you now think should be the function of rough endoplasmic reticulum with respect to what? Ribosome? What happens is this: you know that protein is what? Synthesized by what? In the what? Ribosome. Ribosome receive information from the nucleus through the mRNA on the protein to synthesize. After protein synthesis, the protein need to leave the ribosome through a channel. So the rough endoplasmic reticulum is a, I remember I said that it's a channel. It provides a channel through which this protein synthesized in the what? In the what? Ribosome now leaves the what? Ribosome and transported to where they are what? Needed. Does it make sense? So it's a channel, it's a road through which they transport the synthesized what? Protein. Am I communicating? Good. So the endoplasmic reticulum, after synthesizing the protein, it packs it. No, I mean in the ribosome, the protein synthesized is packed and transports through the what? Endoplasmic reticulum from one part of the cell to what? The other. That is rough endoplasmic what? Reticulum. Now, smooth endoplasmic reticulum does not have what? Ribosome. That one is involved in lipid and steroid synthesis. Lipid and steroid synthesis. This is our fat, okay? Lipids and what? Steroid synthesis. So, smooth endoplasmic reticulum is involved in what? Lipid, L-I-P-I-D, lipid, fats and oil, and what? Steroid synthesis. So it involves in the lipids, so it packages and do what? Transport what? Produce what? Lipids and what? Steroid. With this, I think we can stop here. So generally, endoplasmic reticulum is involved in what? Distribution of just know this from summary of work of endoplasmic reticulum. Generally, it is involved in what? Distribution of proteins and the other materials throughout the what? Cell. Period. distribution of what? Proteins and other materials throughout the what? Cells. That is the function, in summary, of what? Endoplasmic reticulum. So what it distributes now determine the type of what? Endoplasmic what? Reticulum. Why rough is for what? Protein. Smooth is for what? Lipid and what? Yes, steroids. I think we'll stop here. It's getting dark. Or should we continue? Let's stop here. It's getting dark. Any question? In the absence of any question, we'll stop here and I will say, God bless you. Please, I beg you, if you want, I will kneel down. Study. From all indications, that is the only thing I can deduce from this whole thing. If I'm not saying the truth, tell me. The basic thing you should do first is to do your assignment before you even open your book to do what? To read. So if you don't do that basic thing, it's a sign that after this class you just go back to your hostel or your home and close your book and do what? Keep. And I'm giving you a clue on how to do this assignment. Follow it judiciously and you'll be happy when the time comes that you did. Sacrifice your time. Have that sleepless night. Deny yourself of all these things now so you can enjoy later. All right, thank you very much. God bless you. See you tomorrow.